I'm here because I have 2 rescue dogs. Emmy is just one of them, and they both need to be trained. They don't have any manners, chew, and then more importantly though, Emmy and Dottie have come to fighting quite viciously and can't get along anymore. So really like some help in having a peaceful household.
You always have her sit at boundaries. This is, of course, one of the most important ones, the front door. Have her sit, step out, or step in this case, step back. She waits till you come back. Okay, she walks through with you calmly, no pulling. See how I just did a little bit of a prompt. It's like a signal to her. You're like tapping the brakes. You do this. It really helps you a lot in these cases. And see how I just made a left turn? Okay. Now I'm going to do another left turn to have her sit in front of the mat. And we're going to pat her chest and say, go to your mat. And then we're going to say down. And she's very hot and uncomfortable because she has a skin condition, so I'm going to help her. There you go. Normally, when she feels better, she'll go right down. But since she's going home today, I just have to show you. Good, we have to make this video on a real bad day for her, but I'm just going to show you the moves and explain to you what to do. When she's here, you practice your little downstay. Just do like a warm-up where you walk around her. Good. Always come back in front of her and reward her on the mat. And I practice these things just progressively making the distractions a little bit harder. At first, it's just a downstay, which is where she accepts you walking around both ways and not getting up. Good. Because she practices on the mat so much, she does it without the mat now too. And then we're going to make this quick for her sake. You can practice other things. I'm going to do things that might make her get up. Very often when you sit down, it's an invitation for the dog to run over to you. But always, good, put it on the mat. She takes it off. You put the reward on the mat, you withdraw, she takes it off the mat, and you say good. So now I'm going to go in the back of the house, close this door, and knock on the door. Good. Good. So we're just doing all these things you can do to make her a little bit distracted, and I really want to do something that will make her or have her make a mistake so I can show you what to do when she makes a mistake. But she's actually been pretty good at this. Good. Hey, want a treat? Good. See how I pause? See how the delivery of the reward is really calm? You even pause for a couple of seconds, withdraw, she takes it off the mat, you say good. So let's try some hard stuff. If you're going to do something that's difficult for her to handle, it's okay to remind her what you want her to keep doing. So before I go outside, I'm going to remind her down, knock on this door, ring the doorbell, see if that made her get up. Good. So that was exceptional. She gets a bigger reward. But see, calmly, no. She jumps the gun like that, you pull back and say no. She has to really wait. Good. Make her wait before you give her the reward. Keep the whole exercise is one of calmness. Remember that. Bang on the windows. This is usually pretty hard. Next to the mail flap. Doorbell again, knock on the door, let's throw everything at her. Very good. So she's doing really well. If she were to get up, you just do a circle, put her back. First I'm going to reward her for that. It was really good. Good. This could make her get up. Very often if you pull on the leash, but see, she's rock solid in her stay. So good. I'm going to simulate a mistake that she may make. Maybe if I do this, this will make her get up. This is really hard for most dogs to handle. So she's got a really solid stay. Of course, you practice it a lot. Very good. So I'm just going to simulate what you do. Good. Simulate a mistake and show you what to do. So the way that you release her, and this is a perfect exercise, obviously she did really well, She waits till you come back next to her, you pat your leg. Okay. Bring her off the mat. Okay, come on, this way. Okay, come on, she has to itch because she has a skin condition. Come on, so she comes off the mat, and then you have her sit. And then if you're gonna release her to be free in the house, you pat her chest and say go, and she's free. And now she can itch to her heart's desire. If she makes a mistake, let's pretend that she popped up, she made a mistake because of something I did, I'd come back over, I'd pick up the leash. If I didn't have the leash in my hand, I'd say no. I'd step into her like this, use my body to do a little circle, and I just apply a little pressure on the leash and make sure she went back. You already said D-O-W-N once in the beginning of the exercise. You don't want to say it again. If she pops up, you say no. You do your reset, gently but firmly put her back. Go and do it again, whatever triggered her to get up. Or if that's something that you're trying that she really has difficulty with, don't try that for a while. Do easier stuff for a while, for a few days. Come back to that later when she's a little bit better and more focused. So that's how you deal with it if she made a mistake. Okay, now we're gonna go outside. I'm gonna show you this front door thing. Sit. Very often after we do the mat, I'm gonna give her a little free time. So of course I bring her to the front door, have her sit. Do the same thing every time you go through this main boundary. Sit, she waits. It's a very good calming exercise to do. Okay, and if it's your back door, it's your back door. Walk through calmly on the outside, have her sit, and release her to be free. Go. Give her a little free time. We're going to show you all the basic commands inside here where it's cool. It's very hot outside. It's in the hundreds. She's very uncomfortable. Her skin erupted in allergies or whatever it is since it got really hot here. And so we're just going to do our best to show you how to practice when she comes home, and she's very distracted and she's likely to start itching, but I just want to show you how to do everything, and at least you have a guideline of what to do when she comes home to you. So, okay, the first one would be, let's just start out simple. If I'm going to have her sit, very often I'm going to do a little reset. I'm going to say sit, and then she looks up at me. Hey, normally she would look up at me, and I'd say, good, as I gave her a reward. That's the way to do it. Always reward her straight down like this, so it's eye contact. She's looking at me right now. See this? And good, as she takes the treat. Don't do this, don't go like this, none of that. She needs to be looking up at you. Keep your back straight. Put the reward by your face so she'll look right in your eyes and then straight down. It's a really effective way to reward. It increases the focus she's going to have on you. And it's very important. Notice I only said it once. If she did not sit the first time I told her, I would never have repeated it because you don't repeat any commands. No. If she gets up, you say no and put her back like that. But if she didn't sit, you still just reinforce it by pulling up with a little bit of pressure. You're not jerking, popping, hanging. It's just gentle but firm pressure. Just a little bit of pressure. Her butt hits the ground, you release it. It's all very gentle but firm and consistent. And so stay is built into sit, and so if we tell her to sit, she knows she stays there until she's released. There are distractions, of course, happening in here. She's still sitting. She got a little distracted there. The way that you release her, you either pat her chest and say go, which means she's free, or you say, so you say go like that, and she'd be free if you're on a walk or something. Or if you want to walk with her and keep her on the clock, you pat your leg and say okay, and she'll walk with you. Okay. Okay, come on. Down. Her commands are not going well today because she's so uncomfortable, and I'm sure it's really hard for her to think. So I just reinforce that down command with my left foot. Notice how I set it at the same moment that I put the pressure on the leash. We never say stay. We don't use that command, and we don't have to, because down means to stay and also sit means to stay. So we're just teaching the dogs to stay for longer and longer periods of time and then to wait to be released. It's a much more effective way of doing it. minutes. So all you say is down, stay is included in that. And then you can see I'm just doing a basic down stay here, where she accepts you walking around both ways behind her. A lot of dogs can't do that. They pop up when you're behind them, but of course we practice that. And she has much more of a down stay than this, but this is just to show you what you can do in public or whenever you're not letting go of the leash. You never let go of the leash unless she's in a secure area, of course. Good. She gets a reward when she's in a down like that. Just put it between your feet like that. Give her a reward. She's waiting to be released. If she pops up before you release her, you say no. Step on the leash and just put her back gently but firmly. Don't say it again. So we want her to know the first time you said it, that one time, that means to stay there until she's released. The only way that she's going to get up is when you come back next to her, pat your leg and say, okay. And then sit. If I'm going to release her to be free, I'm going to release her from a calm sit stay. You have her sit and then go, and then she knows she's free. That's always how you release her from a down. Don't release her straight out of a down, because what happens is the dog get all excited. Come! Calling her away from the computer there. For some reason she was interested in that over there. So you always do it exactly like I just did it here. Okay, and then sit and release her to be free from a calm sit stay, because you want to keep that extra calmness in there from that downstay, which that develops. If she's there for a few minutes, she'll start getting really calm and quiet and start developing a very high level of focus, and you want to release her and have her keep that. If you release her straight out of a downstay, very often dogs get anticipatory and they jump up and they run around, and it doesn't help because people usually say it in an exciting way as well. So we're not doing it that way, and that's one of the reasons why she's so much calmer now than she used to be. It's how you start, and it's even more importantly how you end every one of these little exercises that makes her calmer throughout her everyday life, 24/7. When I'm practicing the recall, the come command, I'm always doing it the same way. If we're out on a walk, I'm walking her on a loose leash, of course. That leash is always loose. You're never going like this, and you're never doing that, and you're never going like this. It's just loose. Left hand leash, you put this leash over your hand. Right hand reward. Have it in this target hand of a closed hand, a fist, because when we phase the food out, which you start doing these commands, just after 5 weeks, we phase it all out, because the sooner you phase the food out, the stronger the training is actually. You don't want to still be giving treats every time and all the time, months later. She won't know this is empty. She'll come to it every time. In a crisis situation, there's no leash, there's no food. She's maybe 20 feet away. You just say, come, and she's going to come running to this, and I'm going to show you in a second what you're going to do. When you're ready to call her to come, it's come. And see how she was itching and she got a really bad skin condition, but good, she still came to me. I reinforced it, which is what you might have to do a couple of times. I'll do it again if she's really distracted. Come! She comes to you, good. Your left hand takes the leash. She touches your right hand, it opens up, it gives her you give her the reward, and you say good. We'll do it one more time. Come! She comes to you, good. So that's the way you're going to do it. And then if you want to get her back on the clock, you step into her, have her sit, and she's on the clock. And you can release her if you want, or you can walk with her, do some leash walking. Okay, do some less circles or something like that. Sit, as you're walking through your yard or through your house or whatever. But you always call her to come to you, and then you have her sit if you're going to start the training. Or you could just call her to come to you, have her sit, and then go. Release her again and practice the recall back and forth over and over again. Okay. You always have her sit in front of the crate. Let's make sure that she sits. She waits for permission to go in. So I open the crate door, make sure she waits. So I'm keeping it loose, but if she does try to get up before I release her to go in, you can say no and do a little prompt like that. Make sure that she really waits until with your right hand you pat her chest and you say go, and she'll get to go in. She loves her crate, of course. Good things happen when she goes in. She'll go in, she'll turn around, she'll get a reward, Look at that, good. Reach in, unhook her little training collar, her prong collar. And then it's attached to the leash, so that comes off too. And then you can hang this prong collar on the door. She's not allowed to come out of the crate until you allow her through this boundary. You can't do training in there, good, but you can control her access in and out, so you control the boundary. And if she tries to come out, you just say no and do these little, what I call little token slams. And then when she waits, give her a little reward. You might have to do that at first when she comes back to you. This is not her crate, and this is not where her crate is and has been, which is why she's a little bit amped up, because it's all new to her. But even in a new place with a new crate, a different crate than hers, can see how it worked. And it'll be kind of like that probably at your house for a couple days till she gets used to the fact that that's what she's going to do there. So this door is broken, so I just put the little things in there, top and bottom, to make sure that it was secure. But normally you're going to turn the knob, or you're going to just squeeze it and make sure the holes are in the top and bottom so it's secure. And prong collar gets hung here, and you can put the leash wherever you want. We feed her in her crate. I give her, as you can see, treats when she goes in. When I go in to get her, more treats. So every interaction is super positive when you go in to touch her or deal with her in the crate. When you're taking stuff off, treat, take it off, treat, close the door. You go in, it's treat, put it on, treat. She waits, comes out. It's a tool for training. It's much more than just throwing her in a box and shutting her in. So also give her food in there. The door's always closed. It's closed when she's in, and it's closed when she's out. You control the boundary. If you leave that door open and she can come and go as she pleases, you're squandering the whole power of the crate. The whole idea is that you control her access in and out. It's yet another thing that is totally different than it used to be, where you're in control of her life. You control her access in and out of her favorite place, her den. Dogs are naturally den animals, so this is her den. Her bones, chewies, things that she's crazy about, only in the crate, obviously with the door closed always. All the dogs will be that way. They'll all be next to each other, chewing on their bones in their own little dens. They'll all be eating side by side in their own little dens. No fights can possibly happen. You're never going to have food or bones out in common areas, of course, because that would obviously cause huge fights with these dogs. So everything happens in the crate. They learn to coexist peacefully next to each other. They're all coming out at different times, going in. You're doing this with all the dogs. It's a lot of structure that they need in their lives to realize that, hey, there's somebody in control here. We're not going to go wild and crazy. We leave each other alone. We're always in each other's presence, but there are controls in our life, and this is how we live now. So that's why we're using the crate this way. And oh, by the way, she's been sleeping overnight, every night in the crate, and doing fine. Throughout the day, she's in and out constantly. She might be in the crate for a couple hours or an hour or whatever, but she might be out for 2 hours too. So it's constantly in and out, just in the same way that I show you here. She always waits, go in. It takes all like 6 or 8 seconds to do it when you're actually doing it. And then when you're going to take her out, you're going to reach in there. First thing I do, of course, treat. If she tries to run out, nope, do this little close. Like, she's not allowed to run out and bowl you over. But she won't if you do it this way. See how she's waiting? She waits. Good. Treat. Make sure you stick your hand in there because you don't want her head hanging out. So she has to be in there to get the treat. And then this is already attached to the prong collar. The leash is already attached to the prong collar. And you want to attach the leash to the funny looking buckle, the kind of strange looking buckle. The other one, which it's just perfectly round, is just a spacer, and it should look like this. It's not twisted, so make sure it's not twisted, so you can just like let it hang like that. Leash is already attached, you're all ready to go. You just reach in like this, and you put the collar on, the prong collar on. It's the one that goes right beneath her ears, the highest up beneath her ears. Right there. It's all the other collars, or the other collars down below. And then it's just lightly touching all the way around. It's not too tight and it's not too loose. If you put more links in, it's too loose, it'll hang and it'll stick her. So you want to just lightly touching, just exactly the way it is today when I'm bringing her back to you. That's perfect. If she gains weight, you're going to add a link, of course. If she loses weight, you take one out. So she's all set to go. See how she's been waiting this whole time and talking? Good. More rewards for that. She waits, because you control this boundary. She waits until you say, okay, and then she gets to come out. I always just step into her like this, close that door, and of course I'm going to take her out again. Okay. And you're going to, come here, sweetie, this way. And she knows to sit automatically. Okay, you have a whole house to walk through. I'm going to get her a little bit closer to the door. Our front door is right here. But as soon as you get to your back door, I would recommend doing this for a while at least. Have her sit, step out, step back in. Okay, bring her out, and then have her sit on the outside, sit, and go. And then you release her to be free once she's already outside. This is the calm zone, always, this doorway. Okay, we're doing our daily little exercise that we do with Emmy and Dottie. Come on, sweetie, this way, come here. And I just took Dottie straight out of her kennel. No warm-up time, just like Emmy's been out. And then Dottie straight out, she's been on the leash for like 1 minute. So sit, have her sit in front of the mat. We say, go to your mat, down. We just do this thing every day with each dog. And it's just a desensitization exercise. Good. Where we get them used to hanging out together, where they're both free. For the most part, not in their crate, of course, but there are safeguards here where nothing bad can happen, and we just get used to them. And she might crawl around, and you say no, and you can like take the reward, and you can kind of lure her back. I'd kind of scoot her around, as you saw. Good. And you just get them used to ignoring each other and paying attention to you, because obviously you're doing this with them, you're orchestrating the whole thing. Good. She can look. Hey, Emmy, come over here. Come here, sweetie. Come over here. So she can look over here. And I give Emmy treats and her treats. Good. But when she takes a treat, she has to turn away. And we're going to make this a short video. I just want to show you what we're doing every day. We don't usually do it, no. But it's just the mat exercise is just the way it normally would be. Emmy, hey. As the individual mat exercise, the same way, only they're each other's distractions here. But it's really hot, so good. Emmy, come here, sweetheart. Come here. More treats. I just want to show you what we've been doing. Normally we wouldn't do it out good in this bright sun, but usually it's about 5 minutes long. And then I would just, okay, and go the other way, have her sit, and then go, and down, and make sure that she does it. Make sure that she, here, right there, down. Has that ability to be calm on either side, because it makes a big difference. Make sure she's good to go on either side. So you alternate sides. And of course, over time, you could even put it sideways, different angles. And then, of course, we do the same thing for Emmy as well. Good. Dottie's the big instigator, though, because Emmy's super calm and mellow and really doesn't care much about Dottie, but Dottie will instigate something, and then Emmy, it triggers Emmy to do her part. That's what we've seen here. So, good. In the video, I'm showing you what we're doing with Dottie, because Emmy's just non-responsive and just totally perfect, and I can have Emmy like really close right here, and she doesn't care. And even here, we're only 4 feet away from each other. Okay, let's go, come on. Sit. That's a girl. Go to your mat. Down. And Emmy's a little bit slow at a lot of things. Good. Sometimes if she hesitates or doesn't go as fast with the down, you can just kind of apply a little tension on the leash and she goes there. But don't ever repeat the command, of course. We're only saying it once. And on a day where she feels better, she's having a bad itchy day today, and on a day when she feels good and it's not so hot, she's a lot quicker with her commands. Good. So even though Dottie is the worst offender, I'm still doing an Emmy video just to show you what she's like, because you have to see both of them, of course. Good. And I'm going to switch sides really fast because it's really hot out here, but just to show you what we do every day. Okay. And then we will figure out a place at your house where we can do the same thing. Sit. Go. Down. And it'll be so much better when we're doing it at your house and it's yet another spot where we're doing this. Yeah, we're all really hot here, aren't we? Good. As you can tell though, we're all used to doing this. It's the norm. It's a very normal thing that we do. And they're also with each other 24/7 because their crates are right next to each other. They do everything side by side, eating, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Sit. And then go. I can always let them be free like this and have this good association with being close to each other and getting treats from me. And I'm in control, though. It's not like they're loose, crowding around, excited, and taking treats from the same hand. You never do that. But in a situation like this is good to do, because what does it make them think? They think it's great when we hang out together like this, because this is what happens, and we're not the way we used to be together. And I can control that outcome because of the way I have it set up here. And we'll figure out a way at your house to do it as well. And then of course this leads to taking more and more, like removing these safeguards a little at a time until we get back to where we want to get, where they just hang out again without worrying about a fight.